I figured I'd do a quick little greenhouse tour because the last one I don't feel like I showed enough. I'm really psyched about this. It's sunset here on the farm, and since I'm about to lose my light, now is the time. So during the day in a greenhouse you gotta open up windows and such. So I'm gonna button her up for the night now that it's been warm. I found that even when it's cold out, if I leave everything closed up, it gets pretty hot in there. So let's take a look. So let's why don't I switch so you can kind of see a little bit better. So we've got the aquaculture thing going on here. Strawberries are down here. Got some really diverse species. Look at that. It's working. So that's the rest of it. It's really thriving. Look at the Swiss chard. Look how green and beautiful it is. This is broccoli, and I eat the leaves too. And some other broccoli over here. Got all kinds of mixed stuff. My theory that I'm testing is that plants don't necessarily want to live in monoculture. And so, you know, if I see little plants growing here, but look, what if it's, something nitrogen fixing like clover? So I'll leave the clover. In the middle, got some flowers and herbs and things like that, and some tomatoes that are still growing. Lots of kale. I love the kale. I am a green smoothie guy. And so having loads of kale and Swiss chard, dark leafy greens is really great. So I've got this hanging up here and a few other places where I light candles if it's a chilly night. It doesn't cost very much to light candles. They've got these the big tall tea candles. They're cheap. They run for 8 hours. 8 hours. And so as I get the heating up of the water barrels, which I can use for watering, but I mostly are using them for heating. So during the day they warm up, and the inertia, the thermal retention, if you will, of the water, it'll stay through the night and keep it from freezing. And really, that's all I need to do. Plants don't grow in the middle of the night. They need to sleep, but they also need to not freeze. And over here, you can see I've got temperature 64 degrees. I got a little heater that I got really cheap. This thing was, I can't remember. It was very cheap on Facebook Marketplace. And in here we have the worms. So let's take a look at that. So I wanted to make sure that the worms didn't get out and I didn't have lots of bugs coming and going, flying bugs. So I set up a bungee cord system for that. They like darkness. So obviously there's a few bugs in there. And this stuff here is the substrate in which the worms live. You can order it online, Amazon or whatever. It's called coconut fiber. So you get the coconut fiber going in here, and then food scraps, basically. It's got to be kind of old, let it sit around. I just stick it in Tupperware for a little while and just let it kind of chill and get nice and juicy. And I also will periodically put it in a blender, not in my regular blender top. I got another one. And so I can blend that up, and then, it gets into the soil faster. And what I do is, I'll scoop that stuff up, but here's the trick, right? So you don't want to scoop up your worms, you want to keep them doing what they're doing. They're your livestock for growing food. So what I'll do is I'll feed them on one side of the bin, and then a few days later I come back, and that's where the worms are, is where the food is. And so now I can scoop out the worm castings and put that as my soil amendment to make my plants happy, and it's working. And I also have a little spigot at the bottom. This whole thing drains. You got to drill a lot of holes in your bucket. Right? I've got holes all the way around here and on the top, but it also has holes in the bottom, so that'll drain into the second bucket. And then any drippings, we call worm tea, That stuff I can pull out, water it down. You got, you know, the ratio. I'm still trying to figure out what that is, but you know, you need a fair bit of water, otherwise you're going to hurt your plants. And then just a little bit on, you know, right in the middle of the plant, and it works. So yeah, welcome to the farm. My pumpkin, I grew that sucker. It's huge. I am so proud that, you know, I'm proud of the garden itself. You know, I mean, I'm proud I worked my ass off and built this really cool place. You know, I mean, look at it. It was very little money, mostly just, you know, kind of farm scraps, you know, lumber that I found and whatever, and cut it to fit. But when I love these plants, you know, I mean, I love them like it's a pet or something like that. And I talk to them, right? Because CO2 and also good vibes, you know, and I thank them. So even if all you're going to get out of your garden is a couple tomatoes here and there, the practice of it is good. You know, it's a meditation, and you're walking around in an environment that has loads of oxygen. You know, you close the door and hang out here at night with the candles on. That's pretty cool. So just wanted to share a moment here on the farm, and invite you folks to come here and, you know, either do a nature excursion as I do, or if you want to focus on parachute flight, and, you know, knowledge-based stuff for your skydiving, great, as you wish. I'm here for you. Have a wonderful day. Keep your chin up.